I went from working 12-hour days, essentially over 360 hours every single month, just to make $10,000, to then completely quitting, having $0, switching to a brand new business model and making the same amount of money in just 24 to 48 hours. So in this video, I will break down exactly how you can do the same in a brand new business model. You have no idea how to start. You can go from zero to basically $10,000 in 48 hours, as long as you have the right guidance and do things in the right way, just like I did. Quick disclaimer, no, I'm not a smart guy. I'm not a nerd. I don't know anything about tech, AI, or any of these things. I'm just your average bro. I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube already talking about my whole journey, going from high ticket sales, even e-commerce back in the day, getting hacked, having $0 in my bank account, to now scaling over 50K a month. So you can do the same. I'm not smarter than you. I'm just your average bro. Please understand this. So anybody can do this. All you have to do is really just know the right steps in the right correlation, which is eventually going to get you the money that you want. So let's jump right into it. The way I did it was by basically starting a completely new business model, I guess you can call it. It's not really new. It's almost like a service-based business. However, we do most of the things with AI, and that is kind of why it's new and why you have so much leverage. And again, you do not necessarily need to know anything about AI to get this done. You just have to understand how things work. That is the most important thing. We're doing a service-based business, but we're utilizing AI to do the service so that we don't have to spend time doing things ourselves. So much leverage, so much money to be made. It's a win-win for everybody. So here's the thing. What we do is that we basically sell AI services to local businesses. Now, do we actually sell AI? No, we do not. We just use AI to fulfill. However, we are basically selling a tangible result for a local-based business. The way you do this is very, very simple. You just have to create some sort of offer that a local business is willing to pay for. Don't click off the video yet, because I will explain exactly how to create an offer, how to get traffic. I'll walk you through the whole A to Z system. It is not that difficult. It just sounds difficult. So here's the thing. To be able to sell a service to a local based business, you first of all need to create an offer, but you should also keep in mind that you have to be able to essentially, you have to be able to fulfill this offer that you're creating with AI. Because if you are just going to fulfill this yourself, then you're basically just running a normal agency type of model, which is completely fine. You can make money on that. However, you have so low leverage, right? Because you're constantly having to do work yourself. So you're almost just like a glorified freelancer. While if you're able to utilize AI to do the work for you, you can really just focus on marketing and getting as many clients as possible. And then obviously fulfilling, keeping those clients and good results with the use of AI. So everybody wins. The business is making money, you're making money, everybody's happy. So here's the thing. You need to build out an offer. Now you're going to ask me, okay, how do I build out this offer? How do I do these things? So on and so on. And it is definitely important to have a very, very good offer, because this is what's going to make or break whether or not you're going to be able to sign a client or not. So the way you do this is by creating an offer that has something tangible and something results driven, right? So I'm gonna give you a couple examples right here where you say 100 new patients in 90 days, it says, right? So you're like, okay, that is a pretty tangible results driven offer, which means that is something the business owner that you're talking to has to kind of understand. Otherwise, they're not going to pay you. The reason why this is so important is because if you create a typical AI type of offer where like I don't know, we'll automate the back-end workflow XYZ, it's first of all just sounds gay, so fuck all that. Second of all, there's no money to be made because nobody's going to pay you tens and thousands of dollars for an automation. They're just going to pay you one time and then get the fuck out of here, right? So don't do that. You want to do something that is very, very results based and tangible. Now, what is results-based and tangible for a business? X amount of money slash revenue, X amount of clients slash leads, so on. Those are things you can really break down into numbers, as well as very easily get people with the use of AI and fulfillment, right? Now, before you make an offer, the number one thing you have to keep in mind is that you have to pick a local business to target. So what that means indirectly is that you need to find a niche. So you need to pick out a niche before you create an offer, because it's going to be way easier to create that offer for you if you know the niche that you're targeting. So how do you uh, pick a niche? Well, you have to understand the pros and cons of the niche that you're picking. Any niche really works, any local business works, but there are definitely pros and cons to each niche, right? I just have an example right here. I can't edit this for whatever reason. I think I need to buy an upgraded plan, which I'll do. So this is just like, it just says solar there for my last example because I do coach people. So this board is like directly made for somebody that I coached. So if you, by the way, want one-on-one coaching on how to start your own AI agency, then you can apply down below. If not, just watch this video and try it by yourself. Here's the thing, you need to pick a niche. Now, when it comes to picking a niche, there's pros and cons with a lot of them, right? So as I have written down here, we have solar, which is a niche. It's a local-based business. They usually go and knock on doors to get leads. So instead of having them knock doors, what you can do is that you can obviously run marketing for them, get X amount of leads, and then let's just say you create an offer around, oh, we'll get you 30 leads in 60 days or you don't pay us, right? Typical, tangible, very easy to understand type of offer. So your main focus is to use AI to create the ads, run the ads, analyze the ads, and get them 30 leads. It's really that simple. Like, you don't, again, have to be a genius, know anything about AI or anything like that. You really just need to understand the bare basics of everything and how to create an offer and how to market. That's what's actually going to drive results for your business. So very easily put, there's pros and cons. So you might think, okay, that sounds awesome with solar. What's like the con of this? Well, when you think about, first of all, when you think about your local business, think about all these like typical local businesses out there, like your solar companies, your HVAC companies, your roofers, your fucking plumbers. But then you also have different things, like you have your clinics as well, right? You have your dentists, you have your med spas, you have your super popular right now, like your, what is it? These peptide clinics and stem cells, all of these like clinics, right? You have a bunch of them, chiropractors and these things, which are great, right? You have your home service, you have your clinics, you have your you have restaurants, you have a bunch of shit, right? Now you need to pick a niche in this case, but look at the pros and cons of these niches, because now, like I said, you ask, okay, what are the pros and cons of solar? Well, the pros and cons is that it's very, first of all, pros, it's very easy to get them a good, tangible, results driven offer because they mainly just need leads. Instead of knocking doors, you can provide them with leads in different ways. You can give them an online presence. Again, most of these guys are just like chasing leads, knocking on doors instead of actually having an online presence and having people come to them. You can build out these systems for them so that everything works smoothly. They probably are missing a lot of leads in their pipeline because they're just knocking doors, so you can maximize all of these things. The cons is that a lot of people are already reaching out to them because they kind of know these things. The pros are also, it's probably way cheaper because there's a lot of solar companies compared to clinics, and so on, right? So if you go on the flip side, let's just put dental clinics as an example. There's a bunch of pros and there's a bunch of cons. It just depends on the situation that you're in, and depending on the situation, you should pick a niche that is reasonable for the situation that you're in. So clinics, a dental clinic is usually a very good niche. However, it is very expensive because there is not a lot of dental clinics out there. Usually they're kind of more performative and they already got a lot of things going for them, right? So they have space for more customers. However, you're going to have a hard time getting in contact with them. So if you're doing cold outreach, good luck with getting on a phone call with a clinic business owner, right? It's going to be hard. Usually with home service, when you do cold outreach, sometimes you even just call the owner, and your chances of landing a client are way higher due to cold outreach. That's going to be hard when you're doing clinics. Also, if you were to run ads for a clinic, yeah, the potential of signing a client is way, way better because the sales cycle is so short. Usually, when you get these guys a lead, they'll have it closed within the next few weeks. While let's say you're targeting realtors, yeah, there's a bunch of them. You get leads for super cheap. However, their sales cycle is so long, right? You get them a lead in February, you're not going to close that home until next year. So it's like, holy shit, things take time, right? So when you're targeting clinics through ads, there is obviously going to be a lot of they're going to be way more expensive. Like you're going to have to spend 200-300 bucks just to get a booking. While if you're targeting realtors, home service, whatever, there's like it's probably like 30 bucks a lead slash booking. So you'll have a way easier time to get leads in these home service niches, but you're going to have a way harder time closing and making more money compared to a clinic where you're going to have to spend a lot of money to get a booking, but it's probably going to be easier to close and you can charge way, way more. So weigh out the pros and cons. Find a niche that you want to work with and then take things from there. Create an offer for that niche, which is pretty tangible. So you set up something, again, results driven, kind of tangible, results driven in that way. And then you have your offer, you have your niche. Now the next step is to basically like actually get these guys on a call and book them in. So the way you book them in is first of all just like create a simple landing page wherever you want in GHL, your own website, whatever it might be. Just create a brand, create a landing page with a calendar where they can actually book calls into. Pretty simple as that. This is just an example of how it can look like. Once they've booked that call, or once they've actually like gotten here and booked a call, you obviously need to kind of inform them on how things work, what they can expect, and so on, just to increase your show up rate and have things in place. So when they book a call, transition to a new page which just says your call is booked, confirm the call. Here's kind of how things work, what you can expect, what we do, what we help with, reviews, testimonials, whatever you want to put, right? Just make sure to have an informative video, basically a VSL after the booking, so that they show up on the call. Because if they do not watch this video, the chances of them closing are just going to be way, way lower. So you'll just increase your chances by having a video like this. Then you obviously want to send traffic to the booking page. So this page right here, you want to send traffic to it. How do you send traffic? Just run simple ads, okay? No, you do not need to have a shit bunch of money, cash, or anything like that. What I recommend is that you just run Meta, so basically Facebook and Instagram ads. Just spend 50 bucks a day for like 2 to 3 weeks until you get a client signed and you should be good to go. Then you just use the money that the client paid you to run more ads to fulfill, so on and so on. So it is very, very easy. You're probably gonna be running ads for the companies that you fulfill for anyway. So you just do the same thing for yourself. Make the ads with AI, analyze the ads with AI, and then run them, so on and so on. So it's way, way easier than you think. It is much, much simpler than you think. Just do it in the right way. Essentially, the way to break it down, it is so easy because the same thing you're going to do for your clients is the same thing you're just going to do for yourself. So run the Meta ads, get leads through that, just send them over here, have them book a call. So by the way, I know I'm making this very, very simplified. Obviously, there is some more nitty-gritty into this, but when you run the ads, just run simple ads with your offer. So let's just say you can literally summarize your offer in like two sentences. Just have that blank screen your offer, run that as an ad. It's gonna get you leads, it's gonna get you bookings. Spend 50 bucks a day until you get a couple bookings, then close one of those bookings, and you basically have made your first client. So you just kind of walk through people what you do, just build up a little bit of a gap, talk about their problems, where they want to go, pitch your offer as a solution to their problems and their destination, and then you hopefully close them. And when you close, just use AI to fulfill just like you did for yourself, and you're good to go. So all you really need is just to talk a little bit with ChatGPT or Claude, go back and forth on creating a good offer, picking a good niche, and from there, it's GG's. You close a client, you just repeat, focus on the marketing, scale, and go from there. I can't make this shit up, dude. It's literally so easy. I did all this in like 48 hours and made 10,000. You can literally see the spike right here. It's literally like 48 hours. Boom, boom, and then boom. So it's stupidly simple. Just don't overcomplicate it, and you're gonna see results. I hope this helps. Catch you guys next time. Take care.